I guess this sword will kill.
Hi there, my name's Luke LaFontaine. A lot of you know me from up here at Cold Steel, but for those of you that don't, I come from a film and martial arts background. I've worked as a stunt coordinator and fight choreographer in Hollywood for the last about 30 years. And today we're going to be talking about swords, and we're going to talk about Cold Steel's Mizutori Wakizashi. Wakizashi being short for Wakizashi no Katana, which basically translates to sword thrust through your side or sword through your belt. So if this is my Wakizashi and I was wearing it on my side through my belt, that's what it stands for. This is one of the premier swords in Cold Steel's lineup. We make a katana and a wakizashi of this. It's a superior blade. It's forged out of 1095 high carbon steel. It is forged. We don't fold this blade. With modern steels and super steels that we have nowadays, there's really no need to forge fold blades anymore. It's primarily done out of tradition. And it's a beautiful tradition, and people make amazing swords. But in terms of the steels we have now, there isn't really a need for it. And so this one's forged out. It's got a super sharpened edge, a hardened edge, a clay tempered edge. And you can see the hamon, as we make sure that the hamon is pronounced in this. All the fittings are custom done with a crane theme. It's got a beautiful brown ito wrap, real same. This is really one of the premier pieces in our lineup. We've got the other ones that you guys already know about, our Warrior series, our Dragonfly series, and our Imperial series. We have two new models in the Mizutori and the Gold Lion. The Gold Lion being a sword that we make that is forged and folded. The brief history, give you a rundown on the Wakizashi. The Wakizashi comes into predominant existence in the 15th century in Japan. It's not really seen before that, but because before that, it's primarily katanas, and before the katana comes the tachi. When you start seeing wakizashis, it's not until 1638 that Japan actually makes a decision to try to codify the wearing of swords, and that the rank of samurai is designated by a samurai wearing two swords, the long and short, the katana and the wakizashi. Sometimes three blades were carried where there was also an otanto, but the wakizashi is the primary secondary weapon. So if I were to enter a castle or I would enter a house, I would take off my katana and not wear it indoors, but I was allowed to continue wearing my wakizashi. And that would have been out of not being unarmed. As you know, never unarmed, the Cold Steel saying, makes perfect sense. They would be allowed to wear this indoors everywhere they went. That would be at someone else's home or at their own home. So if they put up their swords and they decided to keep wearing their wakizashi, they could do that. This, like I said, was a secondary piece. There's also a misnomer. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to designate the wakizashi as the blade that was traditionally reserved for committing seppuku or harikiri. That's actually not true. That's a fallacy. In many instances, you were given a blade or there was already a blade prepared if a samurai was going to commit seppuku for whatever reason. So that's really a misnomer about the wakizashi. There's a brief rundown. We'll get you to take a look at this, but on top of that, we're going to go outside and put it through its paces and do some cutting with it, because it's a super strong blade and we want to be able to show you what this can do.
I just cut through this bamboo. You can see the path of the sword right here. And there's absolutely no damage to the edge. No chipping, no rolling, nothing. Perfect. I guess this sword will kill you. This is maybe the 6th cut now I've made with this edge. No deformation, no rolling, no nicks, no scratches, nothing. 60 RC. It's got a great weight forward balance. This sword wants to push into the cut. You're always reaching, when you're fighting with a Japanese sword, you should always be reaching with your cut anyway. And that weight forward balance, as I reach, wants to pull that edge right through. But it's not so heavy that if I miss, I can't turn and get back out of the way. So it's quite facile for having that weight forward balance. Let's see where it balances at. Right here. Now, from the Suba, that's damn near 5 inches. So it's definitely weight forward, but very handy, very fast, and a ferocious cutter. You don't go through heavy pieces of bamboo like that one-handed without a good sword. Yeah, I have some power and a little bit of technique, but the sword helps a lot. A great Wakizashi is a ferocious cutting tool.